Episode 7 of Abbott Elementary Season 3 starts with Melissa expressing her relief over renting out the spare bedroom in her house. Barbara is not happy with Melissa giving out her residence and identity details. Melissa says that she did no such thing. Shortly after, Jacob comes and expressing his delight of finding a room to stay. Turns out the room is the same one that Melissa put out to rent. Janine finally begins the library program at Abbott. She's hired local grad students which will help them get experience and also help the library program. The librarian at Abbott is Ms. Rosalind Inez. The feedback from the teachers will help the school district office determine if it can be implemented across the city. Janine is surprised to know that Jacob and Melissa will be sharing a lodging. Jacob moves into Melissa's house where they immediately bond over a TV show. Slowly, they find that the two have more in common than they think. They like the same TV show, have similar opinions about it, and also like their snacks a certain way. Gregory is simply amazed by Ms. Inez's classification and upkeep of the school library. Barbara comes in and takes books, but Ms. Inez interrupts her. Ms. Inez insists on checking those books out, but Barbara does not look happy. Barbara barely gets any books to take for her class since the rest are already reserved or not allowed to be taken away from the library. Ava comes into the library, Barbara complains slyly and Ava goes to reprimand Ms. Inez. But to her surprise she finds the book that she had been looking for all this while. At the break room, Jacob is wearing a motif-printed shirt. Ava tries to make a joke on it, but Melissa's compliment averts her. Ava directs her zinger at Mr. Johnson. Jacob notices the shift in dynamics since he became friends with Melissa. Barbara brings her class to the library to read. But the 7th grade has already reserved their time. Ms. Inez has introduced a process of reserving the library online for their class. Gregory is colored impressed by the help that Ms. Inez is bringing. Barbara is not at all happy with the program. She complains to Janine. Janine is surprised to listen to Barbara and she promises to rectify the situation. Jacob and Melissa are building little scenes from a puzzle after dinner. Jacob reveals the change in dynamics to Melissa. They both agree to keep their friendship a secret in school. Janine's idea of providing a solution for Barbara's problem is to ask Ms. Inez to do a book reading for the preschool students. Ms. Inez is much more animated in her storytelling, which gets the students much more excited to hear the stories. Barbara finds her position threatened more and more by Ms. Inez. Jacob and Melissa try to act aloof around each other but fail. They end up sharing memes over text instead. They find it hard to do so because of the newfound comfort they find in each other. Mr. Johnson's confrontation of the two is nothing short of comical. Barbara begins a storytelling session in her class, but her students prefer Ms. Inez now. Janine takes Manny around the library to show him the progress. Ava barges in gushing about the book to Ms. Inez. Barbara brings in her class to the library, and she is rants to Manny about her dislike for the library program. Janine tries to smooth things over, but Manny does not seem impressed. Just Barbara's feedback alone can threaten to stop the library program. Janine decides to shut down the program and informs Gregory. Gregory talks to Janine that it is only Barbara who is facing problems. Other classes and teachers have benefited greatly from the library program. He tells her that she needs to talk to Barbara, that Barbara is throwing a tantrum and she might be unintentionally taking advantage of her and Janine's relationship to have her way. Melissa and Jacob continue their pretense in the hallway in front of the teachers but fail. They come clean about their new friendship. The teachers are nonchalant about it. Janine talks to Barbara and she says that she will be going ahead with the library program. She does go a little antsy awaiting Barbara's feedback. She is pleasantly surprised when Barbara's feedback is positive. Ms. Inez and Barbara also find a common ground and equally participate in story time for Barbara's class as the episode comes to a conclusion. The episode review. Change is not always easy to adapt to. Barbara, who comes from an old school of thought, found it difficult to adapt to a much better, modern and organized way of running a library. While change is difficult to adapt to, it can be done so if one has an open mind about it. Barbara is a mentor and a mother figure to Janine, and sometimes one has to have difficult conversation with their heroes to show them where might be going wrong. This episode was heartwarming in that sense.